Alright, hello. Just explaining a forearm and grip routine that I did on 4/28/2025. One of the first exercises that I did for grip was a Logan lift, and here's the handle for it here. And I will have a picture of it before the video of the lift, but you just put your fingers around and you squeeze your fingers in on each other. I also like to put my thumb out here to help squeeze inside. It is kind of a painful exercise at first, but you do get used to it. So with my grip stuff, I've chosen to do more higher reps now. Not really looking to max out for the time being. That could change, but for now I'd like to do more reps, get some endurance built in for my grip instead of just maxing out all the time. So that's my rep scheme that I used, was more high reps, 12 and 8 I think is what I did. Now the next lift that I did was a sword handle, which is just a vertical handle. This one's a little different because it connects to the loading pin itself, so you can't really bend it one way or the other. So it's kind of more strict, I guess. So from time to time I like to use this one. It gives kind of a different feel, and I can't really use as heavy as weight, really, I guess. And it also has a restrictor plate there, so you can't sneak your hand underneath of it a little bit. So that is that. The next one I did was the Evil Hub, which is it's a very short hub. And it is I don't know if it's the same dimensions or not. It might be slightly bigger than the normal hub, but it's shorter. So I chose to do like a claw grip. There is a other grip where you kind of tuck your thumb into the implement itself, kind of like that. I find that causes pain in my thumb, and I don't really feel like it's increasing the strength of my thumb, if that makes sense. It just seems to always cause pain. So my goal is to strengthen my hand, not cause pain in my hand. So I've kind of chose to go back to the old style, the way that I always thought you were supposed to do the hub, which is the claw grip, which is the thumb like all the other fingers. That could be the incorrect term for it. It might have another term, but that's the only thing I could think of calling it, is like a claw. So that's why I chose to call it that. So that's the Evil Hub. The next one that I did was a key pinch. And I believe this is the last grip exercise I did, but it's just it's kind of the dimensions of a key. It's just like you're holding a key. So you're pinching it. So it's more of a thumb dominated grip exercise. And I believe that was it for the grip. Then I did some axle bar wrist curls. These were not full range wrist curls, as you'll see by the video. These are the top end ones that I do from time to time. Probably do those more often than the full range. I just like doing them. I feel like I like doing the heavy weight. I like the feel of them. And they're just kind of one of my favorite forearm exercises to do. So that is why I do them that way. There's no real special reason, but I do like to do full range, but I like to do the full range more on the Sipes style wrist curls. I feel like I just get a better pump that way. And then the next exercise I did is a little bit of a weird one. It's just I call it an outside rotation. It's a variation of supination. So my hat will probably fall off here, but oh well. I'm going to just show you the movement here. It's just, you hold it straight up, and then rotate it out. And I like to make it parallel with the floor as best I can. It doesn't always work out that way, but especially when it gets heavier, I'll kind of cheat them sometimes. I don't go all the way down, but it's a very simple motion, and I really feel this in my elbow, like right in here, and it really like blows that area up, fills it with blood pretty quickly. So I like to do these. They do make my elbow feel better. So from time to time I like to do these. This is just an old dumbbell handle. It's a screw type, and then I just taped like a leather handle on there. So it's just kind of a implement that I made myself. I just call it a sledge bell. I'm sure it's got probably a real term to it. Sledge. You could probably use a sledgehammer. I just like to use this because I can load different weights, different weight variations on there. And then the next exercise I did was a conic handle wrist curl, and this one was from the front, and it was on the arm wrestling table. So this is just a conic handle. You can unscrew this, and you can turn it upside down. I like to use it both ways. This time I chose to do it the traditional right side up, I guess. I don't know. There's really not a right or wrong way to do it. It's just whatever way feels best to you and what your goal is. So this point in time, that's what I wanted to do with it. And the last thing I did, I just wanted to see if I could still do it. I had done it for a while. Was twist a fork, a steel fork. It was a smaller fork. It wasn't a very big one. Wasn't too difficult, and I was still able to do it. It's kind of more of a test of pain tolerance, I guess. So if you have rather tough hands, you should be able to do that pretty easily. So it's not really like a fascinating strength feat or anything like that. It's just something that interests me, and I like to do it from time to time. And I also like to bend nails, 60D nails. But with the prices the way they are right now, I've shied away from it for now. Maybe if prices go down on them, maybe I'll get back into it. But I just really didn't see it being efficient with the cost of the nails. They used to be rather decently priced. I used to be able to get like 120 of them for about $30. But now I think that's running about $50 to $60 now. So it's not worth the price that you're going to spend. At least I don't think, unless you're doing some kind of feat for some kind of a record, I guess. But I am not. I just do it for fun. So that is what I did. So pretty straightforward. A lot of forearm exercises, grip exercises. I would like to stay more consistent with my grip stuff. I am kind of pressed for time these days, but I need to get it in there because I enjoy doing it. So hopefully I can continue to add these lifts in. I have so many grip implements, I guess you could call them. So I got to make time for them. So on that note, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments or tips, leave them down below, and we'll see you soon. Have a good day.